Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about testing our program. And before we get into that, let me talk about actually building it, because we did not build it after we updated it after we finished writing it last week. We did not try to do a build. So let me show you something. Well, first let me show you this. When they have, let's see, setting up our anchor project, right, okay. Now look at this here. We have it initializing, and we have it going to this thing called program result. When I tried to compile with this, it did not work, okay? What I ended up doing, and this is a good tip, that if you run into issues, especially if you're trying to follow a tutorial and it's not compiling even though you have the exact code that they typed in. What I ended up doing is in a different directory, I reinitialized. I did another initialization that would give me the, the skeleton that it creates. And I was able to use that to try to see what I might be doing wrong, okay? So in this case, this was said program result. It failed when I tried to build it. So what I ended up doing is I looked at the skeleton that I created, and in the skeleton, it had result like this here. Result like this here. So I changed it to this, and then it both here and here, and it did compile. So now we have a program compiling, and the next step they talk about, of course, is testing. So the test skeleton, and I kind of played around with using the already defined stuff, and stuff that was in the skeleton test. And this here, I don't know if it makes much of a difference. Whether you use this form, the assert require, or the let me bring that up. Here we go. Or you use the import. Either way, you're defining it. There's a little bit of a mess here, but the one thing I will show you in a minute that was causing me all kinds of grief initially is the program ID, and I'll show you what that was. And again, this was I'm thinking about saying, this doesn't seem, it's not matching. Where is it getting it from? And I'll show you in a minute. But here is the. They don't really describe it real well. What they have, first of all, one thing is they don't really tell you where this goes. I kind of figured it went after the await, because think about this. You're awaiting the results, and then this is kind of validating it. And that seemed to work. The one thing they didn't tell you, they left out, is that you, of course, have to define, and you need to do it up here. Where did I do it? Way up at the base account, because that's going to be used in both these IT blocks to kind of save the number between the count between the two. The other thing is, and this was the other trick I put in console log. It's always nice if you can't actually run through a debugger to put in log, but of course, it's very easy, and I do this all the time, to get log statements out. And then the tester sees it, or your coworkers who are doing your code review see it, and they're like, get the log statements out of there. Anyways, so it you have to remember to do that. The other thing you have to be careful of is this should be anchor provider. If you look, this is what was in the original code. I think that's what you, now let me show you, I think here in their skeleton, yeah, it's called provider. That's incorrect. Again, I went back to kind of this, a separate skeleton exam that I had generated to see where the error may have been. So I knew, I was able to fit, from looking at that, I was able to do an anchor provider and change this to anchor provider. So that was one thing. Let me bring this back down. We'll bring this back up. So went through, and again I put this after, and let's see, and again they validate. So let me close this. Whoop, I got a caps lock on there. There we go. Okay, let me show you something else before we run it. You have this anchor. Whoop, for some reason it's, let's see, I didn't quite get it. anchor.toml, which is, now, the application has an ID. This must match the ID that we put in last week. This must match the ID in the Messenger app. Let me show you here. Make sure you've seen it. Yeah. Up here. That has to match. Because if it doesn't, it's going to complain. And this doesn't, and running this test, it does not use the local test chain, the local development chain that was the test validator. So, at any rate, I'm going to leave this a second, go back here, and you simply type anchor test, and it's going to go through. It finds the script. It is using that TOML, and that's what, and then it, as you can see, it goes through. Now, for some reason it didn't get the program ID. It doesn't matter. It still worked. It got it when they needed it. I wasn't sure if that would even do anything. There's no license. That's a warning. Again, in this case, don't worry about it. Let me see if there was anything else that, oh, I wanted to show you. What I mean by generating a separate directory that has like the base code that we initially generated, which helped me figure out where the tutorial diverged from how the thing works. Now remember, we're dealing with, bleeding edge stuff, and stuff changes. So here you see missing, I spelled it wrong. And if we go here to target, and, oh, we don't want target. We want programs. And you, what? Oh, that is Celeste. Okay, you can see this is just the code, the initialization code that you get when you run that initialization. And this is where you can see, oh, they use result. This is the, rather than program result. And then if you go, again, you can do the same thing with the here with the test, you can see how they did it. And you can see here, what was I going to see? What was I looking for here? Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, anchor provider. You can see that right there. So this will help you if something's acting weird. It may help you because we know this works. You can run it. We did that initially. So that is the basics of getting this thing to go. And let's bring up our. So once you get this running and tested, and they then say congratulations, you can proceed and claim your NFT. Well, let's see what happens. May as well. Well, yeah. What NFT? Well, at any rate, we have accomplished it. We have successfully tested our application, as you can, well, I already got it off, but as you can see here, 2 check marks. My first message, my second message, and then all the data. So you can see it was able to update with the message. And again, remember, in Solana, the account is where the data is held. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful. So I will speak to you next time. Take care.